Hello everyone and welcome to the W12 Sprint Series. My name is Dan Papels and today I'm taking you through everything that the W12 Sprint Series stands for. So fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride together with me. First things first, the W12 Sprint Series was founded in 2021 by professional racing driver Mirko Bortolotti, who won the DTM Championship in 2024. He came up with the concept aiming to combine the fun factor of driving unknown cars and tracks with a real-life race approach. This means having the ability to adapt to new situations quickly by having limited practice time, and more importantly, to provide the exact same preparation time to each competitor. The W12 Sprint Series takes place in the off-season, most likely on Mondays, consisting of 2 racing servers on each racing day. With more than 16 different car classes and more than 50 tracks forming the official draw, the uncertainty and variability makes this series unique. Also, the racing formats themselves are different. In Server 1, in fact, the action starts off with a 30-minute practice session before heading into a single lap one-shot qualifying. After that, the field will be split in 2 halves for the following 2 heat races, with the top 5 finishers advancing directly to the main race. A final consolation race for the remaining drivers will define the remainder of the starting grid, with all drivers competing against each other for the big points in the main race with a mandatory pit stop. Once everyone is complete, all drivers meet up in Discord to do a live draw for the next car and track combination for the second server, which will feature a more straightforward format consisting of a practice session and the almighty single lap qualifying, followed by an 18-minute main race. The event is rounded up with a top 18 reverse grid race of the same duration. Also, in this case, a pit stop is mandatory in both races, which triggers another important aspect of the W12 Sprint Series, and that is strategy. Since a couple of seasons ago, we also introduced the Silver Cup class, a classification dedicated to less experienced drivers who score points towards both classifications. Eligible silver drivers can easily be spotted on the live stream given their 3-digit race number and silver color badge. Last but not least, 2 more things worth mentioning. All car setups in the W12 Sprint Series are fixed, which means equal conditions for all drivers and all races will feature standing starts. Combined with an extremely competitive field of drivers, all ingredients are given to guarantee action. Don't miss it on our YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this little introduction with me. I'm Dan Papels, your W12 Series commentator, and I'll see you on track. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to the W12 Sprint Series Season number 8, week number 5. Week number 5 already, yes indeed. The previous 4 weeks have flown by, and with some great action as well. It's once again me in the commentary booth on my lonesome this time, and Tim and Klaus on the production. And as always, week number 5 started with a draw to determine where we're going to go and which cars we are going to drive. And we're going to look at that now.
3 cars at the beginning. So the first car is the Formula Renault with a single lap qualifying. Let's see what the second car is, the Corvette C7 TPI with a 3-lap average qualifying. And the Porsche Mission R with a 3-lap average qualifying. So now we are drawing 3 tracks. The first one is Portimao. The second one is Watkins Glen. And the third one is Chicago Street. So now we are drawing the final combination. So the final car is the Corvette C7. And we are racing at Watkins Glen. So the final combination is the Corvette C7 with a 3-lap average qualifying at Watkins Glen.
So then, that was the draw, as you have been able to see. And, well, these cars provide us with great action. And this track, of course, a track which they raced at in real life. And that always makes it special. Now, I have no idea what these cars ran in terms of lap time in real life. I do know that the track back then was also 4.5 kilometers long. This track has seen quite some changes over the past few years. But it's the track we know and love, and also an updated track. You can go extremely wide now in turn 1 without getting off track. So I'm looking forward to a turn 1 in these cars on this track. I think we're going to go about 7 wide, and we're going to exit it 7 wide as well. Well then, after last week, of course, the standings have been updated, and it was a big one in terms of point swing, especially in the overalls. Rafael Rennhofer is now 10 points ahead of Mirko Bortolotti in second. Maximilian Mayer in third, ahead of Marius Zug in fourth. 5 points between those two. So the battle for the last spot on the podium is also very much on between those two. Maarten Stadman is on 104 points, a bit in no man's land. He's, well, 31 points back on Marius Zug, but then he's also 23 points ahead of Benedikt Hitz in P6. So for him, it's, well, hopefully an evening in which he can continue his chase towards that third place in the overall championship. Of course, last week was a great week for Maarten Stadman with his victory. Benedikt Hitz in sixth. I mentioned it already, 81 points. 81 points as well for Jonas Warner in seventh. Then 79 points for Isaac Fairweather. Hugo Zasso in ninth on 78 points. And 73 points for Callum Lux. On to the silver standings then. Michiel Haverens, as we had a feeling already, has increased his lead there over Bernhard Geberger. And, well, those two have got quite a gap to Mario Trummer as well. 20 points from Bernhard Geberger to Mario Trummer in P3. Then a 4-point gap to Patrick Dangel in fourth, who himself has an 8-point gap to P5 Christian Ablasser. 1 point back is Lucas Baza in sixth. 3 points back, and that is Timo Pitts in seventh. Ben Bunagelet, Jan Lins in ninth, and Florian Stadman in P10. We're rooting, of course, for Jan Lins. He's been in the commentary booth with us this season. "20 minutes of practice already completed." And, well, I don't know if we can go on board with one of these cars. I think this is quite the track and car to go on board with one of these cars for a lap. Just listen to the sound of it. Mirko Bortolotti. It's really surprising to me that Kazex has a livery for this car. Especially since this car is not used at all really anymore. We can see the battle between Rafael Rennhofer and Mirko Bortolotti continuing. Mirko Bortolotti, who usually is very, very strong in the second server compared to Rafael Rennhofer. That was, well, still the case last week, but less so. Rafael Rennhofer was able to iron out the bad luck and mistakes that sometimes did happen in the second server, and therefore was much, much closer to Mirko Bortolotti. Sadly, though, also a DNF counted for Mr. Bortolotti. Therefore, that gap, or that points total, swung a lot into the favor of Rafael Rennhofer. Rafael Rennhofer, who didn't have a perfect race either. But with the championship fight so far is anything to go by, then it's going to stay close towards the end of this season. Bit of a mistake there for the car in front. You can see how difficult these cars are to drive on the limit. And back into the pit lane goes Mirko Bortolotti. Opposite lock has we have 8 minutes to go. I think, yes, indeed. It's time for Tim and Klaus to join me in the commentary booth. and well, talk a little about what we're expecting from these, well, or this car and track combination.
Well, good evening. Hope you're doing well. I heard you've been busy racing in the sim and real life. Maybe we can talk about that later. But yeah, about this combo, I would guess American car, American track would be awesome. I'm quite puzzled. I've never driven this car in iRacing why the steering is on the right. So maybe you have the knowledge to explain that. Otherwise, we'll try and find out.
I wish I did. But the Corvette DPI, of course, was made to race in the IMSA Championship.
Yeah.
And, well, one of the most important races there is counterclockwise. Daytona is counterclockwise, so I have no idea. Normally, you know, Audi did it. Audi is very famous for it. The tiny margins, right? Putting the steering wheel a little on the right-hand side. It was still quite central in that car. The R18, but you would get into the car from the right to save time during the pit stop. The driver would not have to run around the car, then open the door, and then free his teammate and put himself in the car. No, you could open the door immediately as soon as the car stopped, which, I mean, saved about a second and a half just in the driver change itself. There's no reason for this car, for the steering wheel to be on the right, because you'd have to run around it. Other races, though, Petit Le Mans, Sebring do have a pit lane where you drive clockwise, which means that, well, yes, then you are on the right-hand side of the car to get in. Maybe that's still the reason, I don't know. I know that Audi did it for that reason, but it seems a bit strange since, well, the biggest race of that championship is counterclockwise.
Yeah, I've just checked Google really quick, but I can't really find a quick explanation because, like, Google states that the original DPI model of the C7 Corvette was with the left-hand version. So I'm clueless on this. Maybe we'll find it out later in the server during one of the races.
I mean, to be honest, the Americans drive on the right side of the road as well. Does have the steering wheel on the left, so it would make sense, yes. But Renault, you can see how low these cars are. I mean, it might be a bit of a controversial topic to talk about, but the sparks fly in over the curbs from the bottom of the car. We're actually not going to see that in turn one. You found something. Okay, hit us with it.
It could be true. It could not be true. It states because American tracks are mostly clockwise, and then it's easier to get the driver back over the wall during changes.
Yeah, so it was what I thought it would be. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. I mean, like I mentioned, Sebring, Petit Le Mans,
yep,
all clockwise. Even the track we went to last week, Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, has, well, the pit wall on the right. And therefore, like you mentioned, it's easier to get the driver out. So it was very much a championship car and not a, well, one-off race car then, which I, in my opinion, think is also much smarter.
So we got that cleared up. So what are you expecting now from this combination?
Well, what am I expecting? Interesting one. I'm expecting chaos at the start, first of all, because, like I mentioned, the first corner has been adjusted, especially with off tracks.
Yep. 8 wide, 10 wide.
I think 10 wide is a bit generous. I think 15 is possible. No, but I mean, there's no off tracks there, so you can go wide now, and especially at the start. Well, it does pay off, let's be honest. For a lap, it doesn't. It's just as good to keep it tight. But I think somewhere of an in-between line will be something that we'll be seeing quite often. The question also is how many drivers do know that there's no off-track there? Because if you're still in the understanding that the off-track is still there, if you have not driven on the track before, well, you're probably going to keep it tight. So that's going to be something.
How wide Michael Haberand is going around this corner one, turn one.
This is a great camera angle, though. No, he's keeping it nice and tight.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I think this is quicker to do. This is quicker to do on a single lap as well, keeping it tight there. Going out wide, just you lose too much time by going out that wide. Oh, listen to that sound. I love it.
sounds great.
Right then, some W12 news to talk about as well. As always, we got this from Mirko Bortolotti before the broadcast. Benedict Hitz is in the USA, presumably for the Vegas Grand Prix, and then he put a vacation together with it. Hope Ben has the best amount of fun, and hopefully has a great time off in the USA. Maybe he'll be following from there. I think for them it's around midday at the minute. Jonas Vana and Lucas Müller, they are focusing on Le Mans Ultimate currently. They probably have a league race in there too, and they don't want to mess up their muscle memory by driving what is a completely different sim. So therefore, they won't be with us tonight. Marinko Jordanovski, he's injured his hand and will miss tonight's round. Marinko, come into the commentary booth, my friend. You're more than welcome to the injured trio. Torsten Gross will be back for a one race appearance. Unfortunately, he couldn't practice or participate this season as his work shift always starts in the evening. So that's unfortunate for Torsten, but it's great to have him with us for tonight. Isaac Fairweather and Robin Rogalski have been removed from the W12 series until further notice due to driving standards. Okay. That is interesting. All right, yeah, okay. Reading the message Mirko sent afterwards, Rogalski is racing tonight and serving his penalty from week 2. So there we go. But removed for driving standards. Can we name anything in particular that Isaac Fairweather has done?
I don't have a...
I can't
clear
remember
memory,
it really.
But I know he's been involved in quite a lot of accidents during the first 4 weeks. So maybe they said enough is enough for now. I don't know.
Yeah, I think last week was... let me check W12 news from last week. Isaac Fairweather collected the most penalties so far in W12. And he had, of course, 2 qualifying bans. So I think there he was already quite close to, well, being excluded from the championship.
It was just stacking
maybe
up the points, I guess.
Yeah, maybe an incident last week might have been a tiny incident, but with the incident points he already had, he was quite far along stacking up those incident points for a ban to the league. So maybe that might be one of the reasons too. I can't really remember anything big.
Before we drop into qualifying, Dan, I wish you good luck with all the Wellen liveries tonight.
Oh yes, the wheel and engineering liveries. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, not a lot of people have liveries for this car, obviously. Since it's a car that's never used again. I think it's a legacy car in iRacing. Here we go. Well, it's a 3-lap average qualifying. As soon as Rafa Renova starts his lap, his first lap, we'll get on board with him. And we'll give you a lap around this circuit without commentary, just the sound of the car and the track for you to enjoy. Varenova, your championship leader, obviously. Important he has a good qualifying. Frank, I do not have this car, so I couldn't join the session either. So for us, it's going to be a complete question about where everyone's qualifying, because it is a 3-lap average qualifying. And well, since I do not have the car, I cannot join the session, neither can I see the proper 3-lap average that way. Here we go then. Let's join Rafa Renova for a lap on board at Watkins. we go. That was a lap on board with Rafael Renhofer. And well, touching grass in the wrong way. He touched the grass on the entry to the last corner, so not the best first lap here for Rafael Renhofer. Mirko Bortolotti, he has just started his first lap. Mirko likes to wait as long as he can. Oh, off board the car sounds even better. I just wish I would have had iRacing in the period where they use this car to drive the 24 hours of Daytona every year. It sounds amazing. To this corner, where also track limits have been changed. You're not able to go as wide as you did before. So they've removed track limits at one corner. But to remove them somewhere, the Americans thought, let's put them back somewhere. So they put them back. The only logical explanation I can find for that, because I think if you allow it in turn 1, it's only logic that you allow it there too, since it's really one and the same corner. The only difference, to be frank, is that you arrive there with a little less speed. Sanablas up for the silvers. Where is he going to put himself? Christian is on his second lap, so we'll get a bit of an overview of what his best lap has been so far. Keep in mind, the timing tower on your left-hand side is incorrect. So therefore, completely ignore what the timing tower says. Callum Lux might have the fastest lap. Does not mean he has the fastest 3-lap average. Could be, but doesn't exactly mean that he has the fastest 3-lap average. Right, some more information then. Our silver leader of the silver championship also has a qualifying ban. Michiel Haverens, he's stuck in pit lane, watching other people qualify. I have a feeling he would have loved to be out there. For him, he has to sit out this one. Come from the back. Now, with Michiel Haverens' pace and what he's shown previous, I'm confident he'll be able to mount a good comeback drive. For sure, it won't be easy. And across the line, he goes and he disappears. Nice. Most of the drivers have finished. Patrick Dangel is one of the drivers still on a qualifying lap. Mirko Bortolotti, I think, will be one of the last ones to do so. Andrea Frasinetti is only now on his first lap. He will start from the back as well. He won't be able to complete a 3-lap average. Jan Lins, will he be driving with two hands again tonight? That's the question we all ask ourselves. It for sure makes it easier in a car like this, but I have a feeling he's still driving with one hand. Seems quite neat and tidy for Jan. although he's driving with one arm. Frasinetti, no, he won't make it. He will make a second lap, but he won't make a third lap, sadly. Still far back for that. Stefano Pellegrino is still one of the drivers who does have to, or who is able to complete it. So Andrea Frasinetti. He's got a minute left. Can he even complete a second lap? Stefano Pellegrino. Where is he? Here he is. Okay, he will be able to complete this final lap. Oh, he comes into the pits. That is strange, because he has only completed, well, basically as soon as he crosses start finish, 3 laps. Well then, strange one. Stefano Pellegrino has a drive through the pits though. Andrea Frasinetti, I just got whispered into my ear, also had a qualifying ban, so that explains why he did not make it. That was of course on purpose. All right then. I don't know if this result is correct. The result from qualifying. But it looks like it. Rafael Renova on a 3-lap average has once again taken pole position. Marius Zug in second and Robert Hega third. Mirko Bortolotti fourth and Hendrik Augustin fifth. Stratos Kirlakitsis finds himself in sixth. Maximilian Maya seventh. Winston Eckel eighth. Ivan Ferrari ninth. And Anton Abe in 10th. That's your top 10 in qualifying. Pole position in the silvers is for Christian Ablasa. To the grid for Heat 1 we go then. Because you don't have long left. 32 drivers with us once again tonight. That'll mean 16 drivers per heat. Rafa Renova starts on pole position ahead of Robert Hega in second. Hendrik Augustin in third. Maximilian Maya fourth. Ivan Ferrari fifth. And Christian Ablasa finds himself in sixth. Patrick Dangal seventh. Jan Lins in eighth. Mario Herzog ninth. Andrea Frasinetti 10th. Callum Lux 11th. And Hugo Zasse finds himself in P12. 4 more to go after that. And here we go. Torsten Groos in P13. Mario Tromma P14. Michael Döllinger 15th. Michiel Haverens in 16th. And Philippe Grin in 17th. How does that work then? Is something wrong on my timing screen again? Because my timing screen counts a total of 32 drivers. Anyways, that doesn't matter for now. It's looking to the 5 red lights until they go out. That's now. It's a good start for Polster Rafael Renova. These cars usually didn't do standing starts, of course. But Rafael Renova has got away really, really well. And how wide are we going to see cars go? Not that wide at all, actually. In the background, Steve is fighting Robert Hega for P2. Chicanes, obviously, big slipstream battle, the inside for turn 4. And the camber is on the inside, so a bit stuck on the outside there, being Hendrik Augustin is not ideal. The Carlar Esports driver all the way back down to 5th. Up the inside he goes, a 5. Augustin in an attempt to take back P4. Oh, 3 wide up ahead, that's for sure not gonna go good. No, indeed it isn't. Maximilian Maya is the driver who has to pay the price. And I saw the 3 wide up ahead. I saw the harmonica effect. Oh my goodness. And there was something that happened before that already, where those 3 cars came together. But that is what left. Maximilian Maya hanging out to dry there. Oh, touch to the wall for Robert Hega. That's about a 1.2 second gap. Henrik Augustin is about 7/10 back of Robert Hega. The most important position to watch though in these races is always P5 and 6. Of course the points are further up front, but 5th puts you straight through into the feature race, and 6th will make you do the consolation race later on, which is 1 minute shorter than these heat races, 5 minutes in total. He's the driver looking ahead to that 5th or 6th place. Once again, we go 3 wide at turn 1. Maximilian Maya has been there before. That time it didn't end well, this time it doesn't either. But that's from Michael Dörlinger, who finds himself in the wall. A big hit. And he will have to go to pit lane to get that car repaired. But once again, 3 wide does not work out. Lux seems to be on his own. Yeah, he is. Oh, here in the background, here it happens. Boom. Just see it in the background. Michael Dörlinger on the outside. Yeah, just gets stuck there. Gets left absolutely no space for the car on the inside. And goes around. Oh my goodness, that's a dive from Narnia. Then can't make it. Mario Trommer, this is happening ahead of him. He's seen this happen and he's just stuck in it. Tried to move over to the right hand side, and arguably what is one of the best liveries out there. Henrik Augustin in the Castrol liveried DPI. Finds himself in 3rd. This is the battle for 5th though. I mentioned it earlier, Jan Lins, could he put himself straight through into the feature race? That would be something. Here's that overtake from Andrea Frasinetti. And that was for P5. Quite simple, not too much of a fight put up by Jan Lins. That gap from P5 to 6 already up to almost a second. Callum Lux once again 3 wide out of this corner. It's not going to work. Oh my goodness me, ladies and gentlemen, how many times do we have to go 3 wide for us to realize it is not working? Leaves Patrick Dangel having to find reverse on a part of the track where he'd rather not be. Rafael Renova has now entered what I think is the final lap of the race. It's got to be close though. It might be close. Come down to about 20 seconds here. But Rafa Renova, once again, we haven't seen him. Overtaker has been able to close down that gap slightly, but once again, Rafa Renova is going to put himself straight through into the feature race, and he's going to put himself on pole position. No one else this season has won the feature race other than Rafael Renhofer, and he has 3 more weeks to keep that up for it to be a clean sweep in the first server this season. The second server is out of the question because he hasn't been great there in recent times. Well, he was able to salvage some of that last week. Indeed it is. Rafael Renova comes through to round out the final corner and put himself on pole position for the feature race. Michiel Haverens has to come from the back, and also that car with some damage. But most importantly, he has gained plenty of spots that he doesn't need to gain later on in the consolation race. And if no silver in the next heat goes through to the feature race either, he still has a chance for pole position in the silver class there as well. Mario Troma, one of the best liveries out there. It doesn't quite sound as good as the Mazda did, but boy does it look good. Mario Troma, the last one to cross the line. I think one of the drivers had to pit for damage, and therefore he's quite far back. And rounding off the final corner, Mario Troma in P17. Well then, let's quickly go to the results to see who's gone through to the feature race. And the results there are as follows. Rafael Renova ahead of Robert Hegel, Henrik Augustin, Ivan Ferrari and Andrea Frasinetti. The drivers going through to the feature race. Jan Lins, sadly, just missing out on that 5th place. But at the moment, he's in pole position for the consolation race of the features. Of the silvers, excuse me, the features, no, of the silvers, there you go. All right, up next, heat number 2. And it's Mirko Bortolotti, who's on the front row, but not on pole position. That is Marius Zug. Listen to that. As if he could hear us, he gives us a rev. All right then, 5 red lights. Marius Zug, Mirko Bortolotti on the front row. Better start for the number 1 and Mirko Bortolotti. He's going to have to carry around the outside of turn 1. He's going to have to move down before we get there though. No is the answer. Marius Zug keeps it up the inside, forces Mirko Bortolotti wide. Mirko leaves him plenty of space. So does Marius Zug, but Marius Zug does get out ahead. And Winston Eckel can swoop around the outside of Mirko Bortolotti here. In typical Dutch fashion, he's chosen for an orange car. Here comes the bump from Winston Eckel on Marius Zug. Try and get himself and Marius Zug back ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. The outside, surely not Mirko. Surely you're not going to make that work. He is, he comes out still side by side. Next one's to the left. The inside for Mirko Bortolotti. And he's just pulled off a move that I didn't think was possible. Round the outside of 4. Where the camber favors the inside quite a bit. Mirko Bortolotti says, I don't care about a camber. I have the driving of a champion. And I can carry the car around the outside. Marius Zug demoted back down to P2. And in what kind of fashion? Winston Eckel now left defending for that last spot on the podium. Stratos Kirlakitsis finds himself in 4th after starting in P3. Anton Abe, he finds himself on the last spot to go straight through to the feature race. Timo Pitts is the driver from the outside looking in. Big hit by Stratos Kirlakitsis into the wall. And that opens up the possibility for Anton Abe. I do have to say, the Whelen liveries, there's not too many of them. Rob. To defend from Pellegrino behind, as well as having to attack on Rogalski. Rogalski now stuck on the outside after a qualifying ban, keep in mind. Rogalski also having to watch out. Any incidents could put him under threat of a lead ban here. due to the incidents wrapped up in previous weeks. And is that Rogalski up the inside is my question. It did look like it, sadly. Niels Langeveld getting turned. Ah, Davy Uwema. Lucky to keep that car on the track. Leon Blum sadly being involved in it. Who is it moving over? It's Timo Pitts moving over. I think Tim only has himself to blame there. Niels Langeveld once again, here we go. Is that Rogalski up the inside? It looks like it, and it very much feels like that one is on Rogalski. Oh no. Well, Rogalski is awaiting the same fate as Isaac Fairweather was last week, I'm afraid. Back up the inside, Rogalski, another incident. And he's not doing himself any justice, is he? And I think the decision for the stewards is going to be quite easy here. Florian Stadtmann, what happened to him? Nothing, but there is a car going off right in front of him. And we can hear it and see the tire smoke. But Rogalski, I mean, even though those incidents were probably not intentional, they still were, I think, pretty much, as we have another look at it. I think there's not much Rogalski can argue here. Just in too deep, too optimistic. There's no way you're sending it from this far back. Come on, lads. There's so much more racing to be done. As the checkered flag, oh no, that's the white flag, and that's out. I mean, I thought it was the checkered already. This race has flown by, let's be honest. Mario Suk has gotten back ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. Where has that happened and how has it happened? Here we go, up the inside. Mirko Bortolotti confident he can put it round the outside again. No, he's not. The move was already done before he even got to the braking zone. No, Mirko Bortolotti back past Mario Suk on the last lap of the race. Winstead also still right there. If something goes awry wrong or awry up ahead, he's there to pick up the pieces. Or can he put the pressure on Mario Suk himself? Not a car that gets driven very often by any of these drivers. I reckon some have never driven the car before. But Mirko Bortolotti once again shows how smart he can race. With him conceding the lead and being sure that he can take it back in the last tour of the race. Mirko Bortolotti comes through to win ahead of Mario Suk and Winston Eckel in third. That's your podium. And most importantly, Mirko Bortolotti on the front row together with Rafael Renova. As drivers take this opportunity to practice some starts for later on, calibrating their clutch. How they like it. Get the best start possible. I haven't got the YouTube chat up, but I have just gotten the mention from my producer Timon that I have been mentioned as an FDR champion in the chat. Yes, that's very true. We'll get to that probably in the practice later on for server number 2. For now, though, let's focus on who's gotten through to the feature race from that heat race. It's Mirko Bortolotti, of course, putting himself in the front row. Marius Zug, Winston Eckel, Stratos Kirlakitsis, and Anton AB, who are through to the feature race. Here is the start grid for the consolation. Jan Lins on pole position, and on pole position for the silvers as well. Martin Stadtmann alongside him, Hugo Zasse in third, Florian Stadtmann in fourth, Christian Ablasa fifth, Dave Ewerma in sixth, Michiel Haverens in P7, and Christoph Haters in P8, Philippe Hugrin in ninth, and Robin Rogalski in P10. Maximilian Maya in 11th, Stefano Pellegrino in P12, Torsten Groos 13th, Leon Blum 14th, Callum Luxton 15th, Niels Langeveld 16th, Mario Herzog 17th, Hugo Robin 18th, Mikael Dullinger 19th, Lucas Baza 20th, Patrick Dangel 21st. I've not kept in mind who were the others. Well, no time for that. 5 red lights are on once again. They're out, we're underway and racing. Good start from Jan Lins on the front row, but an even better one for Martin Stadtmann and for Hugo Zasse. Jan Lins having to defend now on Florian Stadtmann, who probably has gotten a full start. Black flag behind his name, he has to drive through the pits. Robert Rogalski, same fate for him. Torsten Groos, same fate, waiting for him as well. So pressure will lighten on Jan Lins here. From behind, Hugo Zasse going for the move. The inside, will there be contact? Martin Stadtmann forces him out wide, but does manage to get back P1. Lots of shuffling of positions going on further back in the field. Three drivers on the grid. And I think 3 of those are out. Whoa, here he is. Oh, slight contact once again. And it's unbelievable, but it's Hugo Rob again who's been spun round to no fault of his own. And probably that car severely damaged and therefore having to retire. Davy Ewerma decides that the tyre barrier is his destination. Unfortunate there, just going out slightly too wide. Too early on throttle, understeering onto the grass, and from there, really, there's no saving it anymore. Martin Stadtmann under pressure again from Hugo Zasse. This is let's try and get away from Florian Stadtmann behind. Obviously him not knowing that Florian Stadtmann has a penalty. Michiel Haverens, I told you, with that qualifying ban, could still put himself on pole position for the silvers here. He finds himself in 4th. Sensational comeback drive by Michiel Haverens already. And it has not ended yet. Looking back from Michiel Haverens' car to Maximilian Maya up front. There we find pole position in the silvers. Florian Stadtmann, he's going to disappear out in front of Michiel Haverens here because he has a penalty. No need to force an issue here for Michiel now. Just needs to be able to make sure that he can stay with the top 2 here. To potentially pick up 2 more positions that he has got to take off for the feature race. Michiel Haverens, in my opinion, could be one of those silvers who on a good day, with a bit of help, might be able to pull off a silver overall victory when the time's right, especially if you see how consistently he has been able to be quick. Massive incident for Philippe Hugrin, and another one who, oh my goodness me, we can be happy for the catch fences. The marshals on the side of the track seemingly unbothered by it. There's the incident. trying to avoid it. My goodness, and into the sky we go. Catch fencing. There we are. My goodness, we can be happy this is a sim. Massive incident for Philippe Pugret. He collects Dave Jewema, who almost goes into the... My goodness. He almost goes into the grandstand. Florian Stadtmann, if he does have a black flag, he needs to enter the pit this time round. He's probably... Oh, is this the last lap or was it too late? No, it will be the last lap. Next lap will be last lap, so this is the last lap he can do it. Into the pits he comes, and that promotes Michael Haverens to pole position in the silvers. But he's probably waited as long as possible to avoid having to come back through the field and be ahead of as many drivers as he can. Oh, Mikael Derlinger has just gotten a black flag too. Well, Mikael Derlinger will drop far back. Michael Haverens, oh my goodness! Almost an incident up ahead, driver on the grass. This is important to know, but really not what we want to be seeing now. There was a battle for the lead. Oh, Martin Stadtmann has been able to stay ahead of Hugo Zasse, who had to go over the grass. But Michael Haverens also still in third, having to fend off Maximilian Meyer. Here's Florian Stadtmann out of pit lane. Oh, there's been an incident there. Anyways, Martin Stadtmann has done everything right in this race. He's just got 2 more corners to go now. And then he'll find himself in P11 for the feature race. Martin Stadtmann comes through to win the consolation. Hugo Zasse in second, ahead of Michael Haverens in third. That's your podium. Michael Haverens from a qualifying ban to pole position in the silver class for the feature race. What a drive it has been from the 778, the Belgian driver for P&D Racing Team. Torsten Groos, the last driver we were waiting for, and that is your consolation race completed. Don't necessarily have to have a look at the result. Top 3, we've mentioned that already, and the rest is just going to be your grid for the feature race. But first, we have a 2-minute warm-up to let drivers, well, not really warm up, but cool down. Martin Stadtmann wins ahead of Hugo Zasse in second, Michael Haverens in third, Maximilian Meyer fourth, Callum Lux in fifth, Jan Linsen sixth, Leon Blum seventh, Christian Abels eighth, Stefano Pellegrino ninth, and Mario Herzog finds himself in P10. Well then, like I said, this warm-up now for drivers to get back into the groove who were maybe part of Heat 1. They have been sitting still now for about 15 minutes. So for them, this is an opportunity to get back into the swing of things, but also for the drivers who have had to do both heat or one of the heat races and the consolation race, it's time to cool down a little. Have a small break before you go into the feature race. With Winston Eckel, and this car it sounds amazing. It was the peak of engineering for its time. But a bigger grid now, a bigger field, hurtling down to turn 1, really. I'm expecting that we see drivers go wide this time round, especially maybe drivers stuck on the outside, not wanting to lose too much momentum. Well, here we go then. Let's have a look at the grid. Rafa Renhofer in first, ahead of Mirko Bortolotti in second. Once again, top two. The top two on the starting grid as well. Robert Hega third, ahead of Marius Souk in fourth. Henrik Augustin in fifth. Winston Enkel sixth. Ivan Ferrari seventh. Stratos Kyriakidis in P8. And Andrea Frasinetti in ninth. Anton AB finds himself in P10. I did actually contact Stratos. And I asked him, well, actually, how do I pronounce your last name? And he told me that even Greek people can't pronounce it. So really, from now on, he said, just say Stratos and it will be fine. So to save myself some being laughed at, from now on, we can refer to Stratos Kyriakidis. As I said that for one last time to Stratos. Well then, here we go. 5 red lights are on the gantry. They're out, we're underway in racing. It's a good start from Mirko Bortolotti. He's going to look to take this all the way around the outside of turn 1. This did not work in the previous race earlier on in the heat race. And it doesn't work this time round either. But he will have the slipstream hurtling down to turn 4. Marius Souk also tucked into that slipstream of Mirko Bortolotti. Who's he going to bum draft? He's going to go for the driver who has a run already. Mirko Bortolotti being stuck on the outside already. The move is almost done before they get to the braking zone. He just can't get in front of Rafa Renhofer. Once again, he will take it all the way around the outside. Rafa Renhofer will say, no, not this time. He will brake deep. And he will now try to carry it around the outside. These top two in the championship still side by side. When is one of these drivers going to yield? Not now. Now he is. Mirko Bortolotti, after a stellar fight, now has to take it up with P2. He's not quite done with this yet. Back he comes once again the outside. Can he swoop it round? Yes, he can. Of course he can. He's Mirko Bortolotti. The inside now for the left-hander, but Rafael Renhofer got the exit and is back ahead of Mirko. Winston Enkel is trying to make his way around Marius Souk. Can't, and now has to defend to Robert Hega. Those two losing plenty of time behind. Robert Hega up the inside. Goes Frasinetti. Decisive move by the Italian. But Robert Hega not happy with that. Clearly a flash of the lights. Frasinetti though getting the move done. Winston Enkel way deep into turn 1. Now this won't be an off track, but as I said, it will lose you loads of time. Not really necessary to do that. Is that a slowdown? Is this something that I don't know about? Because last time I drove this track, especially in the new iteration, there was no off track, neither was there a slowdown there. Mind you, it was during week 13, so maybe they turned that off for that week. Anyways, Winston Enkel with that slowdown, losing plenty of time. Mirko Bortolotti is back up into P1. And how did that happen? Oh, that was, I think, a pit exit violation. He's gonna park it and he's done. A drive-through already and then a infringement on the pit exit. Now we'll have to see how Mirko Bortolotti got ahead of Renhofer. As Torsten Gross also. Oh no, there's severe damage to that car already. I fear. Yeah, left rear doesn't look factory new anymore. Here's that move from Mirko Bortolotti. If you can't make it work on lap number 1, you can make it work on lap number 2. But also this time, Rafa Renova does not fight it. Zasse also a car that's been severely damaged already. Niels Langeveld also has damage front right. Oh my goodness. Oh, can everyone know? I was gonna say can everyone avoid him, but no is the answer. Big damage. Oh my goodness. Philippe Hugrin. Second big incident of the day. If this was real life, well, Philippe Hugrin would have one been in the hospital affair, and two would have had a massive damage bill to pay. And he make things work. P6 for the minute. Still has to wait for the pit stops to play out as well, just like everyone else has. First driver at the moment having made a pit stop is Hendrik Augustin. And he finds himself in P22 at the moment, down 17 positions from where he started. Most of those, of course, being down to the early pit stop he's made. On board with Ivan Ferrari. Tucked into the slipstream of Martin Stadtmann ahead. There's kind of a first group which runs until Hega, top 5. They've been able to somewhat break away. And the group behind that, Ivan Ferrari, all the way to Michiel Haverens, P6, 7 and 8. Well, they're fighting it out for that illustrious P6 at the moment. They are only about a second back though on top 5 fight. Again, leader in the silver class and in the top 10 overall. It's been such a strong season, apart from maybe the little mistakes he's made here and there and some bad luck he's had. It's been a really good season so far from Michiel Haverens, and let's hope he can keep that going for the coming 5 servers after this one. Tonight, of course, one more server to go and then 2 more weeks of racing before we head into the special events already. Michiel Haverens. .5 seconds for him, also only back of the lead. Oh, big lock up ahead. Not as big as the one from Winston Eckel. He probably has square tires by now. But once again, enough to lose him quite a bit of time. I think it was Marius Zug or Robert Hega made that lock up into turn 1. Rafa Renova deciding to stick behind for this time round. Saving the fuel. This is something that in previous seasons we would see Mirko Bortolotti do. And that is be happy with second and then take control from of the race from the pit stops onwards. Being able to stay into your pit box for about a second or two shorter than the rest. And it's basically a free time gained. Just as you can see, Mirko Bortolotti cannot break away at the moment. The draft just too strong, together with the pace that Rafa Renova has. So I fear that Rafa Renova might overtake Mirko Bortolotti in the pit stop phase if he's able to save enough fuel. About to question myself if these cars could actually refuel, but then I remembered these cars were made for 24-hour races. Andrea Frasinetti in that distinctive green livery. Robert Hega, the first one of the top 5 to blink. Ivan Ferrari with him as well. Martin Stadtmann in behind. Langeveld. Truma. Dangel. Ablasa all in. Langeveld out of the pits already. Ooh, it's tight on pit exit there. Ivan Ferrari is ahead. I think of Martin Stadtmann. Where has Marius Zug gone? Oh no, Marius Zug still P3. Where has Augustine gone? He takes back P13 now. Winston Eckel, who was in that fight for the lead, he finds himself in 17th at the minute. Not been a great race for him so far. Previous races tipped on some good pace from his side. But finding himself at P17 at the minute must be quite disappointing for him. P16 now though, he overtakes Niels Langeveld as they swap positions for I think the 5th time now. As into the pits we come with the top 4. Mirko Bortolotti ahead of Rafael Renhofer. Rafael Renhofer taking the speed all the way to the line. Let's see who comes out ahead. Rafael Renhofer will have the furthest pit box. Stops on his marks. And will Rafael Renhofer get out in front? Yeah, he might do, he might do, he might do! It's going to be a battle of pit lane between Mirko Bortolotti and Rafael Renhofer. The inside for Renhofer, they make contact. The pit exit is not wide enough for 2. But like I said, Rafael Renhofer gets ahead of Mirko Bortolotti after the pit stop phase by just saving a tiny amount of fuel behind him. Luckily, there's no penalty there for Mirko Bortolotti either, because it was tight with the pit exit line. Mirko Bortolotti, are we going to see him swoop around the outside again? Not this time, says Rafael Renhofer. And he retakes the lead after he gave it away on lap number 2 of this race. He takes it back on lap number 7. Great battle between these two greats out of pit lane. Marius Zug is, or could be, the laughing third here, if anything ahead goes wrong between those two. Ivan Ferrari. This is then the battle for P5. Everyone now having made their pit stop. It's now a straight sprint to the end. 6 minutes to go. Andrea Frasinetti still about 2 seconds back of the leader. 1.5 seconds back of that top 3 battle. Look at this then. Side by side, 2 banks of 2. Ivan Ferrari, Andrea Frasinetti is just ahead of this. Henrik Augustin, once again side by side with Ivan Ferrari. The outside for Augustin. A lock up from Ferrari. Does that send him wide into Augustin? No, it does not. Augustin takes the place. What a move. Around the outside of Ivan Ferrari goes Henrik Augustin, Maximilian Meyer. Now the other one to try and sneak up the inside this time of Ivan Ferrari. One more corner to go. Once again, there's more contact, side-to-side contact. Martin Stadtmann tries to take advantage of that too. He's going to have a look up the inside of Ivan Ferrari. My goodness, Ivan Ferrari is getting eaten up left, right and center here. He was P5 not too long ago. He's P7, about to lose that too. To Martin Stadtmann, no, he manages to stay ahead this time, luckily. And Michiel Haverens, our leader in the silver class, also here to pick up the pieces. We're getting towards the business end of this championship, and thus what you do in terms of points will become more and more important. Mirko Bortolotti moves to the inside of Rafael Renhofer, and Rafael lets him have it. No way of contesting that one. Just simply too much overspeed with the slipstream for Mirko Bortolotti. Oh, what a great camera angle. Looking back at Rafael Renhofer from the leader's car, Mirko Bortolotti. Marius Zug behind that. Also still wrapping himself in this battle for the win. Best seats in the house, Marius Zug here. What's happened to him? Up the inside he goes. Yeah, that's way too late. Oh my goodness. Oh, Hugo. Oh well. I think that sums up the season pretty well for Hugo here. Rafael Renhofer is going to come back at him. He knows that this slipstream is good. Oh, he might have made a mistake here. Can Marius Zug go around the outside? No, he can't. I thought for a moment that Marius Zug had the run on both of them there. Of course, Renhofer deciding that trying to get away from Marius Zug behind is maybe more important than the battle for the victory at the moment. As it has now turned night, and that's doing quite some funny things with the liveries, as you can see. Mirko Bortolotti's car from the front looks like a toy car. With the glare on it, as the white flag is out for the feature race at Watkins Glen. And we know that Rafael Renhofer is going to challenge for the victory here. A good exit important. He gets one. None better than Mirko Bortolotti's exit. But it's good enough for the slipstream. Andrea Frasinetti, meanwhile, has also put himself in the question here for this win. Andrea Frasinetti bum drops Mirko Bortolotti up the inside of Rafael Renhofer. He brakes late. Will there be contact between the two? No, there's not. Great and respectful racing. But Rafael Renhofer not able to take P1 away from Mirko Bortolotti. And if there was a place to do it, that would have been the one. I'm struggling to see where Rafael Renhofer is going to take this away from Mirko Bortolotti now. Maybe the run to the next right-hander, but he's just too far back, I fear. And from this point onwards, there's really no genuine overtaking opportunities anymore. So he has to do something audacious. He has to come with something that no one, including Mirko Bortolotti, is expecting him to do. Maybe a dive into the last corner, but that isn't really a breaking point. He can't. Mirko Bortolotti is going to round off the final corner. And he's going to eat back into that lead from Rafael Renhofer. Great fight between these two, but Mirko Bortolotti comes home to win it. In what was a mega strategical race from both of them. At the end, It's the experience from Mirko Bortolotti that pays dividends in this one. Andrea Frasinetti will, I think, receive a PayPal from Mirko Bortolotti thanking him for that bump draft on the last lap. That teamwork between those two was mega. And it put Andrea Frasinetti up onto the podium. And it kept Mirko Bortolotti in the lead. Well, great mention indeed from my producer that Mirko Bortolotti and Andrea Frasinetti are indeed not teammates. What they do have in common is that they're both Italian. So, fellow Italians helping each other out. Grande Andrea Frasinetti. If we could do an interview with Mirko Bortolotti, those will probably be the words that will be coming out of his mouth now. Torsten Gross, the last one to come across the line as he ends it off with a massive lockup. And those tires can be put into the bin. Well then, here we go. Mirko Bortolotti wins this race ahead of Rafa Renova. And he closes the gap in the championship again. Andrea Frasinetti in third, Marius Zug in fourth, Hendrik Augustin in fifth, Ivan Ferrari in sixth, and Maximilian Maya in seventh. Martin Stadtmann in eighth, Niels Langeveld in ninth, and Michiel Haverens in the top 10 once again. But most importantly for him, winner in the silver class. Winston Eckel in 11th ahead of Leon Blum in P12, Anton Abe in P13, and Mario Truma 14th overall, but second in the silver class. And Jan Lins picking up a podium there too. Go on, Jan! In P15 overall and third in the silvers. Stefano Pellegrino 16th, Timo Pitt 17th, Christian Ablas 18th, Florian Stadtmann 19th, and Dave Jeuma in P20. Then P21 for Patrick Dangel, Mario Herzog in P22, Philippe Hugrin in P23, Christoph Hartos in P24, Robert Heger 25th, Lucas Baza 26th, Callum Lux in 27th, Robin Rogalski in P28, Torsten Gross P29, Mikael Döllinger P30, Hugo Rob, Stratos Gilakitsis, and Hugo Zasse not making the checkered flag. Well then, that was it from Watkins Glen in the Corvette C7 DPIs. We'll go to the draw now, and then we'll see which combo we're driving for server number 2. And then we'll be back with you as soon as possible.
Well, Danny's not here, but I would say, Jan, if you could go to the interview room after that one.
Keep Perfect. So the first drawn car in the meantime is the GT3 with a 3-lap average. Then the second car is the Dallara F3 and the Super Formula with a 3-lap average. Qualifying for the Super Formula, there should be some tracks which cannot be drawn. So let's see which is the next track. It's Rutskogen. In Mexico City. And the Bend. Okay, perfect. So then let's draw the car which we are using for Server 2. It's the Super Formula with a 3-lap average qualifying. And let's see which track we're gonna use. It's Mexico City. So we are going to a real Formula 1 track. So it's the Super Formula with a 3-lap average qualifying in Mexico City.
Once again,
lights though for the first heat race. As it's lights out, we're underway and racing. Rafael Renova, great start for him. Let's funnel down the turn one with all these drivers. Because first we'll see Rafael Renova cross the line in a 7.5 second gap. Inside the screen, Michiel Hamerand. Green. Mega start from Marco Bortolotti. I don't know what he's on, but that was mega reactions from the Italian. The line seems to work much better. Winston under pressure here for Marius Hertz. Marius Zoek, excuse me. Oh, you can see the pressure. It's getting to it. Up the inside goes Marius, comes through. 3.2 seconds out of Marek Jordanovski to take the win. Off we go, green. And Mario Truma on the outside of the he's going to pull that off. Sure you don't know, he's going to be on the marbles. He's going to lose some speed. The exit. And round he goes by himself. All by himself. Oh, it's the echo contact at the front of the field. Back up the overall lead, which will go to Hendrik Augustin, and he will find himself in P11. 5 red lights on the gantry. Will Marco Bortolotti once again have such a mega start? Yes, he will, but so will Rafael Renova. Not as good as Marco Bortolotti, though. He's on the outside from turn 1, and he won't fancy his chances on the outside of turn 1. He will slot back in behind Rafael Renova, knowing that that is just the best thing to do, looking at all the other races previous to this. The part where you would say, oh my goodness, one more with Ben Hicks, we get turned back to the banking. Podium that Isaac Fairweather all of a sudden finds himself entangled in. And now he is up to the top 5. Martin Stadtman has gone round into the LMP3. Look at this. Both busy fighting. Through goes Isaac Fairweather. And up into P3 with, well, relatively ease. Rafael Renova is through the infield. He has clear track ahead. And he's once again going to eat into that championship lead from Marco Bortolotti. He's going to win Server 1 in the LMP3 at Phoenix. 33 W13s will be hurtling down the turn 1 in 5 lights time. It's lights out and away we go. Good start from Marco Bortolotti. Benedict starts around the outside of Marco. That'll give him the inside for the left-hander. Isaac Fairweather, look at that. Oh my goodness, it's a pile-up ahead. Driver just not getting off the grid. And if that is an anti-stall, well, I can tell you, you are in trouble. Marco Bortolotti, don't tell me Marco Bortolotti with contact and massive consequence in the championship as well. Comes out of pit lane and he's well behind Hendrik Sturre and Anton Abe. Here comes Winston Eckel on the pit exit too. He's in his toe, he has warmer tires and he has the softer compounded tires as well. hits it to the wall together with Lucas Baza. Rafael Renova comes around the final corner to take the win at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. 5 red lights are on. Let's hope all drivers get going. This calamity in the background again. Drivers wheel spinning all over the place, but Hugo Sasse gets the start he wanted. To have him back to the back for the lead on Marek Jodorowsky. He's going to swoop round the outside of Hugo Sasse, and he's going to take the lead with it. Bit of a mistake there. That's going to allow Martin Stadtmann to get past with the momentum. Down to P4 goes Hendrik Störer. And Martin Stadtmann now the driver to go and attack Hugo Sasse. You never know, Hendrik Störer has done the same thing. Hendrik Störer spinning on the P8 where we... Oh, Marek Jodorowsky is the leader in the race. Backwards down pit lane. And these guys. First though, it's time for Martin Stadtmann to have his day in the sun. Martin Stadtmann is gonna win. Yes, welcome back to the W12 Sprint Series as I finally select the right microphone. It's time to get going, and you saw the draw live. It is the Super Formulas at, well, a track which I think is suited for them. Of course, it's the Mexico Grand Prix circuit, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And as always, the drive-through limit here is 12x, and I have a feeling at this track where you rack them up quite quickly, a couple of drivers might succumb to that drive-through limit. Now then, 4.24 kilometers along this track, of course laying at a extremely high altitude, making simply just every car you drive here very, very tricky to drive. 2,240 meters above sea level, the air extremely thin here, and thus that means that cars will struggle with their aerodynamic platforms. Of course, the track situated near Mexico City, so once you're done racing, you can have a great night out here in Mexico City. At the moment though, a couple of drivers not having the greatest of times out on track. That might be because of the tricky conditions and the high altitude of this track. First though, we'll start with someone who has been in the booth for quite a while. And of course, he's back driving, and oh boy is he successful. P3 in the silvers in server number 1. You know who I'm talking about. It's Jan Lintz. Welcome into the commentary booth. Familiar position for you, this?
Yeah, it seems to. I don't know. Was good. Thank you for having me back. Did a one mistake in the consolation, I think, where I just set the wrong gear, so I was in second for the start. But other than that, yeah, all good.
Now, being back from injury, obviously driving your second week going now, have you been able to understand driving with one arm a bit better than you did last week?
Yeah, I did a change. So I'm using the Xbox gamepad on the right hand to bind some important inputs. For example, upshift, pit limiter, and push to pass in this case. But still with one hand, some corners, not easy.
No, and especially the trickier the car gets with the combination we have now, especially that middle sector, the S's, in a very quick car, I presume is going to be difficult for you.
Yeah. Foremost, when I turn to the left, the right arm is in the way of the left hand, so I have to see how I can drive it, but I managed it with the Mercedes Formula 1, so should be possible. Let's see.
I think, tracks that go clockwise, meaning you have to turn right more than you do left.
Yeah.
As you see Winston Ekelhaven's spin. Turning right more than you do left should be better for you then.
That's right. That's right.
All right, well, that's one lucky thing at least with Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, that it is a clockwise circuit. What are you thinking though of the combo just in itself? Of course, this track's situated at extremely high altitude, making the cars very slippery to drive. We see a lot of drivers at the moment struggling with that in practice already. What is your point of view on that?
Oh, no idea. Just go out and see what I can somehow manage. Have no expectations. Just yeah, the car is new for me. Not the car, the truck. I know the car. Let's see. Last server was the car was new for me, but it's similar to GTEs and other cars. But I have no idea. I have no idea. Just go out and take the best.
The last question, just moving back to server 1 real quick. The DPI, a car, you said it new to you, as I think new to a lot of people. It sounded awesome. How was it to drive?
Very forgiving, not difficult to drive. A bit too less response under braking, so it was sometimes difficult to know when it's going to lock up. Other than that, very nice to drive. Good draft, and yeah, it was fun. And very similar to, let's say, as I said, GTE or LMP2 or those kind of cars. So wasn't that much of a getting used to from my side.
And what is your goal then for this server? Once again, top 3, silver?
No, top 3 overall, of course.
I see, Jan. We're rooting for you here from the commentary booth. Hopefully, we'll see you back at the end of the server with a top 3 overall.
Mille grazie. Let's see.
Thank you very much, Jan.
Good evening. Have fun.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, Jan Lins, of course, top 3 in the previous race. And we continue with our first place finisher in the silver class, Michiel Haverens, the Belgian driver. He's back into the commentary booth. Michiel, I just said to Jan Lins, it's a familiar position for him. It's becoming more and more of a familiar position for you, this commentary booth, after great results you've had.
Yeah, it's been some nice results in the silver class over the last few weeks. So yeah, it's nice to be here.
That reverse grid in this race is going to once again provide opportunities. Are you looking to maybe be as far forwards in that reversed grid, or are you just going flat out for the best position you can in the first race?
It will depend if I crash in the qualifying or not, because it's very tricky with the low air density here, or it's there's not a lot of air in the because of the height in Mexico, so you can really feel the effect on the downforce. It's very tricky around here.
Now, server 1 for you was made extremely tricky by the fact you were sitting out a qualifying ban. I already said to everyone at home, if there's one person who can come back from this, it's Michiel Haverens. And well, boy, did you prove me... Jesus, what was that? Boy, did you prove me right.
Yeah, I knew that I needed a good comeback race to get the maximum amount of points, and I wanted to go for a good result at the end, and just try to stay out of trouble in the beginning, and then try to build some pace and get some people along the way. Was not easy because it was quite difficult to pass on Watkins Glen, but no, it was great racing we had in Watkins Glen. Some close, some tight groups with a lot of slipstream again on the back straight, so was a strategic game of using the draft and doing a great job.
How was the DPI for you to drive? Of course, a car that's, well, not driven in any of the services of iRacing at the moment in the officials, a car that not a lot of people drive in general. How was it for you to drive that car?
It's actually a very nice car. Still quite basic, but nice engine, the nice power. Not too much electronics going on. Only TC, but still a car with an old tire model from iRacing, but very nice to drive. Yeah, you don't really notice. It's just a different way of driving with the old tire model a bit, but it was good to have the change of something. It's nice to have something that's from the older times of iRacing.
Yeah, I
I've
can imagine.
never driven it before, so it's nice to get to know these cars as well in the races.
Now, this current car you're driving, the Super Formula, a long
Yes.
servant in the W12 Sprint Series. It's not the first season we run it. Have you got any previous experience with this car?
Not in racing, but I did some practice 2 years ago on Mugello, which it's feeling totally different. The grip is very low here, especially on power. The rear downforce is. You really need a lot of speed to gain anything with the rear wing. Very
Well,
tricky.
Well, Michiel, thank you very much for all of the information you've given us. We're for sure going to use it in the commentary. First of all, congratulations on your victory in server number 1. And hopefully, Michiel, we'll see you back in the commentary booth after server number 2.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michiel.
Bye bye.
That was Michiel Haverens, winner in the silver class in server number 1. And it's time for the one, the only, Timon Klaus to enter into the commentary booth. Timon, you've been busy sending me gifts. Finally, it's time for you to well, have your words on the stream. A good race by Michiel Haverens. Once again, he looked strong. I said it at the beginning, if there's one man who can come back from a qualifying ban, and this Michiel Haverens, well, he proved me right, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a mighty impressive showing in server 1. Kept his nose clean most of the time, and yeah, got a great result in the end, P1 in silver class. So he's extending his lead in the championship for now. Let's see how he does in server 2. And also, yeah, dan Super Formula at Mexico City. Very tricky car, especially on throttle. I'm looking forward to it. I see a lot of drivers struggling in the practice, getting to know the limits of the car. Yeah, let's hope it's going to be an interesting turn 1. That's the nature of this track. In multiple classes, it's been even in real life always special. And also the slipstream with this car. I believe this car has a push to pass, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's an overtake system,
Yeah, overtake
where you
system,
can activate it, and as soon as you deactivate it, I think you have to wait like 2 minutes or something like that. You have to wait a cooldown time before you can activate it again.
I can see Michiel Haverens is pushing with the overtake on for this entire lap. So they can use it, I believe, for infinite time in practice, and in quali probably also. But then in races.
No, quali is without it.
Oh, without, okay, yeah.
Yeah, quali is without the overtake mode. Here's Winston Eckel, first at the minute. Now, some funny information maybe with about Winston Eckel. We did, and by the way, Winston, he must be. You have 2 choices, I think, in the Super Formula, but he must be in the Honda. Come on. I have a feeling he must be.
Let's see if I can. Yeah, he's
Yeah, he is. I knew it. Winston Eckel, very much a Honda fan. Drives a Honda Civic in real life as well. We did a fun race here with the team, I think about 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, 2.5 weeks ago. And we drove the TCR at this track. He's got plenty of practice at this track, Winston Eckel. So that's not an excuse at all. And well, he's putting it to the timing board at the minute. 1:24.665, the time he's got at the minute. And that is Quickest lap time of the session so far. Callum Lux behind him, Rafael Renhofer in third, Marius Zug fourth. Mirko Bortolotti just jumping up to P5 there.
Look at this nostalgic livery Callum Lux is using.
He's also driving the car like you would if you would drive a car back in the day. The rear end is all over the place for Callum Lux. And, well, I think Michiel Havant and I, we both mentioned it already, but this track situated so high above sea level at such an high altitude, 200 or 2,240 meters above sea level. The air here is just much, much thinner than it is at, let's say, your conventional track at, I think, maximum about 100 meters above sea level. You're gonna notice that.
One quick detail about the 1994 Benetton. I believe it was pretty planted on corner exit for mysterious reasons.
I think those mysterious reasons are not really that mysterious, but we'll keep them mysterious. Callum Lux, I mean, if he can drive as well as that car drove in the 1940s, or not in the 1940s, Jesus. No, 1940s, for sure the Benetton car didn't drive with that livery. The 1994s, then, well, he should be up there the whole evening. P2 at the minute for him. About a 10th back and wins the Neckel's fastest time of the session. Marius Zug in the BS Plus competition liveried car. Also, I must say, always a great livery to look at, the BS Plus. The Zebras, they're called. And I think if you look at the livery, that has a very apparent reason.
I can imagine most of the competitors have probably used this car in the past few seasons in a competitive environment. Maybe league racing or...
I mean, in W12 even.
Yeah.
This car's been, I think, a long servant of the W12 Sprint Series. I think as far back as I can remember, as soon as it got introduced, it never really left the draw. Big gap though from the top two to Rafa Renhofer, Marius Zug and Mirko Bortolotti. Maybe down to slipstream, but if that's pure pace, then oh boy, they're in for a good race, the top two.
Look at this beautiful halo.
I think the last time we had the Super Formulas, Winston Eckel was also doing really well. I think that was at Okayama, back when we went to Japan, a track that this car is a little bit more known to. But I mean, today as well, in the Super Formulas, he's doing really well again. And you cut a lot of that curb, and oh boy, he's having a Verstappen-esque moment, Marius Zug. Over that curb. As soon as you touch it, you're all over the place, loading up the right side tires. And there's just no aero platform on this track to support that. As you find yourself all over the place. See, I must say, the difficulty the drivers have at this track, getting the car stopped, and especially on power in this car. Oh my goodness, I mentioned it, Martin Stadtmann is about 90 degrees perpendicular to the racing direction. We go into qualifying. And if I'm correct, this is a one-lap qualifying in the Super Formula cars. And thus, qualifying at this track will be done quite quickly. It is a 10-minute qualifying though, so that does lead me to believe that there's a 3-lap average. And I might have gotten that wrong. And indeed I have, my producer tells me. A 3-lap average qualifying once again. And just like we did last time, this 3-lap average qualifying does give us the chance to get you on board with the drivers on this track. We might wait until lap 2 until the tires are properly warmed up this time. But I think we'll give Florian Stadtmann the possibility of taking us around this track, the silver driver. He's been a long servant to W12 as well. Driving still, as he did on day one for the Gazex Junior team. Oh, can we get the helmet cam off, please? Do have to love the helmet. Lando Norris. Can he take his first world title in Formula 1? Or will it be Piastri? Oh, who knows? It could be a fifth for Verstappen. That's a discussion for a totally different time of day. Maybe the coffee machine in the morning at work. Back to the racing here in Mexico. Martin Stadtmann down in the turn 1. Neat and tidy. No real snaps there. Nice on power as well. As we head now down to turn 4. Much tighter than you think it is. Keep it all over. Hug the left-hand side to open up the right-hander of 5, then 6 and 7. Keep it all the way tight. You don't open up 7. And now comes the S's section. Tiny corrections on board with Florian Stadtmann. 8, 9 and 10. Stay off that curb. 11 and 12. Much tighter 11 than you think it is. And important to focus on the exit of 12 here. Then, once again, braking hard for turn 13. Into Fora del Sol. Turn 14, 15 and 16, the stadium section. Be careful on throttle out of 17 as well. No snaps of overstay this time around for Florian Stadtmann. That's a lap around the Mexico circuit. Oh, I thought we were going to stay on board there for a second and give the people at home a lap on board without me talking over it. Florian Stadtmann, take us round. Extremely long run down to turn 1, so starting P3 or P4 might not even be that bad. Thought he does use this as some extra practice then. So we have about 2 minutes, a little more left in this qualifying session. Stratos, P16 for him at the minute in terms of fastest lap time. Around that midfield is where it gets tricky to really predict where drivers are going to end up. But in terms of fastest lap time, he is 7/10 back of P15 Michiel Haverens. A lovely camera angle this then. Fourth gear, minimum speed of 150 kilometers an hour through the left-hander. Stratos comes to a stop and decides that that's enough for qualifying. Robin Rogalski also sitting out this qualifying session. He is out on track. You are allowed to use this time as practice as long as you don't set a lap time. Stefano Pellegrino, Henrik Augustin and Jan Lins, the other drivers who have not set a lap time. For them it's going to be starting from the back. Now I think that this 3-lap average qualifying system could be quite something. Why not implement it for Formula 1 as well? Wouldn't that make qualifying a lot more interesting? About 8 out of 10 drivers in Q3 will then be moaning about traffic, but we won't take that into account. We like angry radio messages of drivers. Anyways, here is the grid then. Rafa Renova does find himself on pole position with Winston Eckel in P2. Mario Souk P3, Callum Lux P4, Mirko Bortolotti in 5th. So far, quickest lap times relatively okay in terms of starting position in the main race as well. Maximilian Maia 6th, Andrea Frazinetti 7th, Leon Blum in P8, Martin Stadtmann 9th, Ivan Ferrari 10th, and Niels Langeveld in P11. Hugo Zasse P12. Ahead of Hugo Rob in P13. P14 for Anton Abe, P15 Patrick Dangel, Florian Stadtmann 16. Patrick Dangel, I think, pole sitter in the silver class. Florian Stadtmann 16th, Mario Truma 17th, Michael Döllinger 18th, Philipp Hugrein 19th, Lucas Baza 20th, Christian Ablasa 21st, and Tim Opitz 22nd. From P15 all the way down to P22, only silver drivers. Then Chris Hatos, also a silver driver, P23. Then the first of our overalls again, P24, Torsten Groos. 32 drivers once again in total. Nope. There we go. P21, Christian Ablasa, like I said. 22nd, Timo Pitts. Christoph Hatos, P23. Torsten Groos, P24. Those we've had already. Mario Herzog, P25. Henrik Augustin, P26. Stratos in P27. Robin Rogalski, P28. Jan Lins, 29th. Michiel Haverens, P30. Stefano Pellegrino, P31. Davy Obama, P32. So Michiel said to us, depends if I'm going to crash in qualifying. Turns out he did. And thus, he's going to have to start from the back, and hopefully he's going to start as far forwards as he can for the reverse grid race. Right then, as our eyes pan to the 5 red lights on the gantry and the mega run we have ahead of us to turn 1. Rafa Renova, Winston Eckel on the front row of the grid. It's a great start for Rafa Renova. Winston Eckel tucks into that slipstream immediately. Mirko Bortolotti already up into 3rd from the start alone. Looking to the inside of Winston Eckel. Winston Eckel going defensive. And with that, maybe springing the dive attack on Rafa Renova, who goes deep into turn 1. Leaves enough room for Winston Eckel. Leaves enough racing room. Better exit though for Rafa Renova. But Winston Eckel is all over the back of him. Rafa Renova will keep the inside closed. The outside for Winston Eckel will turn into the inside for the next corner. Can he make it work? Winston Eckel up into P1. And Rafa Renova back down into second. It looked like that from the moment they entered turn 1. And Rafa Renova went slightly wide. He put himself under pressure. Mirko Bortolotti, the next one to look to get through on the Austrian. But great start by Winston Eckel. He leads this race. Now it's a case of getting these tires into working temperatures. Here we go, Niels Langeveld. What happened to him in the turn 1? Right hand side of screen. Oh, once again, slight touch. Then you just get thrown around. Nothing that Niels Langeveld could do there. Oh, car up on 2 wheels in the background as well. Patrick Dangel. Yeah, here we're going to see it. What's this? Oh, no, that was even further back. Dangel quite clean through the next couple of corners there. Was it Stratos? It might have been. There you go. Look at that. 3 wide is never going to work in that corner. Stratos found that out the hard way. Another car bouncing over one another. In the background, here's Winston Eckel now defending from Rafael Renova. Interesting to see will be the overtake seconds that they will use in this race, and when will they use it? Winston Eckel a little squirmy on the rear there. Still tucked in the slipstream. Mirko Bortolotti able to follow in the race, showing you that qualifying really does not matter. As on the left hand side is the overtake seconds. I don't think that is very much correct. Of the timing tower. They have 200 seconds in total and not 2,000. Winston Eckel looking at that last corner. Plenty of gap made for him there, not having to use any overtake. Rafael Renova is using it. You can hear it, he's in the limiter. In the limiter towards the end of the straight, and that is why he just can't overtake. Traffic will also start playing its part now in this race already. Drivers having pitted already. Having to make way. That must be Ivan Ferrari, no? It's Mario Truma in the Ferrari. What a stereotype that I presumed that even Ferrari would be in the Ferrari livery. Would have been a story though. More traffic up ahead for Winston Eckel to deal with. And I think it might be Torsten Gross, Stefano Pellegrino. Next car's up ahead for Winston Eckel. Mistake there, allowing Renova to get close. Slow down for Winston Eckel, oh no. And with that he drops massively. Back down to 4th for Winston Eckel. Contact, Michiel Haverens into the wall, hard into the wall. And that comeback drive he did in server 1, it looks like none of the same in server 2. Contact means that he's out of this race. Philippe Wigre on his own, massive crash as well. Oh my goodness, able to reset just in time to avoid another massive hit. Stefano Pellegrino. What happened to him after that? Oh, got caught out as well. Oh my goodness. That incident from Michiel Haverens kick-started a whole bunch of incidents. Yeah, the car's coming back on track. Stefano Pellegrino returns by slamming on the brakes. And that just makes the car step out. Niels Langeveld without the rear wing, and around he goes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was after that incident with Michiel Haverens. Oh my goodness, in the background was that crash from, I think Stefano Pellegrino. Leon Blum. Oh, great rejoin. My goodness. People sometimes just don't learn. Ah, what a sin, by the way, from Martin Stadtmann. That's going to be a hefty penalty, but then the rejoin, watch this. People just don't learn. My goodness. Disappointing way for it to end, really, for Mario Truma. Did not deserve this at all. Well, just simply nowhere to go. If I was Mario Truma, I would demand quite a hefty penalty for that rejoin. And then Martin Stadtmann decides to reverse into the tire barrier. Yeah, questionable way of getting back onto the track, but it'll do. And thus, still that battle between Rafael Renoff and Mirko Bortolotti at the front continues. At the inside goes Michael Dörlinger. Just a moment off track, but this is what you're going to get if you're going to go side-by-side racing on this track. Oh, and then just deciding not to brake, really. Unfortunate there for Michael Dörlinger. Just slightly underestimated how much he had to brake. Stefano Pellegrino already without a front wing and a front left tire. I presume he's going to just misjudge the braking point, and into the wall he goes. As there's that rear wing from Martin Stadtmann still in the track. Stewards probably want to throw a safety car to retrieve that. Oh my goodness, Stefano, haven't you learned yet that turning right is difficult without a left front tire? As he finds the wall again, Hugo Zasse, another replay. Wing. But Gozek's car just able to avoid that. Please make it back into the pit lane, Hugo Zasse. Thank you very much. Sensible thing to do. Anton Abe once again, the S's. Has it caught someone out? Oh, yes it has. Just the driver in front of him, and he has to react. He can't in time. No way he could react in time there. Robin Rogalski, what's happened to him? Let's hope he's on his own this time, just for his own sake. And yeah, just looping it round and stay where you are. Yeah, good job. Didn't do his own chances of being able to compete next week any good in server 1, but so far in server 2 at least. He's been able to drive around clean. Winston Eckel! Winston Eckel with an incident and then decides to cut that whole corner. That's also an option, I guess. But from leading this race to all the way down in P11. Reminder, he does have his pit stop made already. Rafael Renoff, a second now ahead. Oh my goodness! Mario Herzog getting out of the way for the leaders, but not ideal. 2/10 lost there for Rafael Renoff. Could have been so much worse though. He had that incident earlier on already. What has happened this time? It just looped it around. Oh, not the rejoin you're hoping for. It's in front of a damaged car as well already. Oh, both almost finding the wall after that as well. My goodness, what a race this has been so far. It looks like these super formulas always provide us with a bit of a crash fest. drivers finding it pretty difficult to control the power under their right foot on corner exits. And especially, I think the high altitude and the lack of grip you have at this track is not helping with that. With Callum Lux, easily one of the best liveries out there today. If there was an award for the best liveries, he'd be winning it. Adding so much of that right-hander. Oh, car off in front. Another one bites the dust in the S's. Davy Ewama this time finding his rear end overtaking him. Oh, and again. Oh, and again. But that was intentional this time. Oh, and then once again, he's struggling to drive away. Rear tires just spike in temperature and they provide absolutely zero grip. Philippe Pugret, the corner after that. He's going to loop it on the exit here. Yep. Oh, and then he's going to put it into the wall as well. The walls there are not far from the track surface. Again, back on board with Callum Lux. Marius Zug. This is the battle for P4 between Andrea Frasinetti and Marius Zug. Can I? Yeah, no, I wish I could see push to pass as well, but it's not showing me. Oh, Christian Abla, so stay where you are and hope nobody hits you. Good job. Then don't drive into the wall, good. Yeah, did everything right there, Christian Ablasa. Although it is painful to lose more time, it is a consequence of your actions and you have to take it. If you don't, you risk even bigger consequences. Of potentially a race ban if you have a really bad rejoin. Rafael Renova. With Mirko Bortolotti already having made his pit stop, I think we might see the Austrian in soon as well. Him and Callum Lux and Andrea Frasinetti, the only three drivers yet to make their pit stop. Callum Lux, this could also be important for him towards Mirko Bortolotti. Both drivers using the overtake on this in lap for lap time. Andrea Frasinetti also coming in. He was on the pit limiter very, very early. Rafael Renova, never nice when there's a car in your spot, but it works out quite fine for Rafael Renova. Here comes Mirko Bortolotti and he's up to speed already. He's recharging his push to pass though, or his overtake. That's why you see the green light flashing on top of his halo on the roll bar. Around the outside on Winston Eckel, Andrea Frasinetti Is he going to be able to make that stick? No, he's not, but Winston Eckel at least gets back up into 5th. Showing us that pace that he has been able to do this whole race so far, but apart from that mistake and an early pit stop. Callum Lux has gained that position on Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko now down to 3rd. Oh, around he goes. Just too aggressive over that curb, and the curb biting back. Stefano Pellegrino without a front wing. Hopefully nothing dangerous here. No, letting all of them by. Taking it off track with that. Smart decision from Stefano Pellegrino. Christian Ablasa, is he going to loop it? No, he's not. On the exit of this corner then. Oh, he's going to find the wall? No, he's going to loop it, yeah. And then also he has to wait again. Deja vu striking. Oh no! Oh no! Completely broken! Christian Ablasa, what are you doing, son? Get out of there ASAP! There's no point of driving anymore, your rear axle's off! Oh my goodness, Christian Ablasa, I was gonna say did it right again, but... Well, he clearly didn't, ladies and gentlemen. Putting the icing on the cake for Christian Ablasa there. Varenova will start the final lap soon. Martin Stadtmann will look to gain one more position in this race. Just P9 right in front of him. Hendrik Augustin. But they together are about 10 seconds back of P8 Ivan Ferrari. So that's about as good as it's going to get. Winston Eckel is gaining time on the leaders, but too little too late. Varenova started the final lap. 2 seconds in front of Callum Lux, and Mirko Bortolotti 5 seconds back of that. All the points he gained in server 1, lost in server 2. This is not something, let's be honest, 2 weeks ago that we would be saying. But Rafa Varenova has come good in these server 2 situations, which is what you need if you want to become champion. It's a bit of in no man's land. 10 seconds back of the car ahead and 10 seconds in front of the car behind. Rafa Varenova though has been dominant once again in the Super Formulas, shown what he can do, and will negate the points gain for Mirko Bortolotti in server number 1, because he'll come through the final corner to win the main race at Mexico. Rafa Varenova is once again a W12 Sprint Series winner. So far he's won a race in every week. Mirko Bortolotti finishes 3rd. He was able to deny him the clean sweep in server number 1s. Winston Eckel after that incident comes through to finish P5. Great comeback drive from the Dutchman. Augustine. He's going to come through in P9. He's going to fend off Hugo Zassa behind. Martin Stadtmann did get through. Florian Stadtmann is going to win the silver class. This is the battle for 15th overall, but also second in the silver class. Lucas Baza is involved in it. Niels Langeveld, can he do something on the run to the line? No, he can't. That run to the line just comes way too early. Oh, Anton Nabe, keep it pointing in the right direction, son. That's it. Across the line. That's all drivers. that have seen the checkered flag. Here we go then, Rafa Renault for wins ahead of Callum Lux in P2. Mirko Bortolotti in P3 ahead of Marius Zoek in P4, Winston Enkel P5, Maximilian Maya P6, Ivan Ferrari 7th, Martin Stadtman 8th, Hendrik Augustin 9th, and rounding off the top 10 is Hugo Zasse. Hugo Rob finds himself in P11. Those two Hugos always seemingly behind each other in the standings or on the grid. Leon Blum in P12, then the winner of the silver class, Florian Stadtman. In P13, Andrea Frasinetti in 14th, Lucas Baza 15th, Niels Langeveld in 16th, Patrick Dangel 17th, and Tim Opitz in 18th. Second and third in the silver class is Lucas Baza and Patrick Dangel. Continuing with the overall standings in P19, we find Anton Abe and then Stratos in P20. P21 is Torsten Groos, P22 is Michiel Haverens, Mario Truma, P23, Jan Lins, P24, Davy Uwema, P25, Robin Rogalski, Christian Ablesa, Mario Herzog, Stefano Pellegrino, Christoph Hatos, Philip Ugre, and Michael Dölinger, the drivers not seeing the checkered flag in the race. Well then, that gives us about a minute and a half time to rest our voices and see the drivers take to the track for a little cool down session. The reverse grid is and will always be one of the most interesting races of the evening. Oh, Leon Blum, don't have a start like that, please. It won't only be slow, it will also be dangerous for you and everyone around you. Here we go then. Here's the reversed grid race. Grid. It's Stratos in P1, of course. Anton Abe second, Timo Pitts third, Patrick Dangel fourth, Niels Langeveld fifth, Lucas Baza sixth, Andrea Frasinetti 7th, Florian Stadtman in P8, Leon Blum 9th, Hugo Rob P10, Hugo Zasse 11th, Hendrik Augustin in P12, P13 for Martin Stadtman, Ivan Ferrari in 14th, Maximilian Maya 15th, Winston Eckel 16th, Marius Zoek 17th, Mirko Bortolotti 18th, Callum Lux 19th, and Rafa Renault in P20. The rest as they finish. Well then, one final start for week number 5. And once again, a long run down to turn 1. Anton Abe needs to have a better start than he did in practice. Otherwise, I see about 5 cars flying past him before we even get to turn 1. Here we go then, 5 red lights in the gantry. It's a good start for Stratos on the front row. Coming through the middle is Lucas Baza, who takes the lead of the race as, well, parts are flying in the background already. Anton Abe He's going to have a look up the inside. Round the outside goes Andrea Frasinetti, taking the Max Verstappen line into turn 1. He does come out ahead with a massive slowdown. He's going to have to give that up before the rest gets to him. Lucas Baza side by side behind with Anton Abe and Stratos. Maximilian Maya, Patrick Dangelo, contact. 3 cars all over each other. Andrea Frasinetti is going to give back those positions here. Going to try and keep second place from Anton Abe. I'm not sure that's where he was when we started braking for turn 1, but sure, we'll roll with it. Andrea Frasinetti, any penalties will be applied afterwards, probably, if that was not the case. Maximilian Maya, Hugo Zasse, both picking up a slowdown. They're going to lose out massively. The inside goes Stratos of Anton Abe. And up into the podium. Lucas Baza, the silver driver, was leading the race before Andrea Frasinetti made the overtake. You're not going to tell me that this will be another week where Andrea Frasinetti wins the race and then gets a post-race penalty. He did that at the Monza combined circuit in the LMP2s. Hopefully today, if he does win the race, it'll stand. Look at the start, Davy Uwema, what happened to him? Oh, yeah, about as much obstacle as we thought he would have, and there you go. That's the parts that were flying in the background. And the car not taking the start in the background, actually, might have been very, very lucky to avoid this. It would have been right behind it. Luckily that's not the case. Poor Philippe Hugret involved in that, had nothing to do with it. Here comes the incident behind. That's going to be between Patrick Dangel. We're going to go 3 wide. And that is just not going to work out. Who was stuck on the outside there then? Niels Langeveld. Of course it's Niels Langeveld. What an unlucky evening he's had. My goodness. Just absolutely nowhere to go for Niels Langeveld here. I mean, what do you say about that? Niels Langeveld. The bad luck award for him this evening. And then cars choosing the outside, just, well, making the wrong decision, sadly. Pellegrino. Oh, around he goes. Oh, stay there! My goodness! The incident on, well, really behind him. Unfortunate, that one. A car ending up on its roof. Rail tracking the barrier. Andrea Frasinetti still in the lead, ahead of Maximilian Maya in second. You have to love the downshifts on this car. You have to be patient on the throttle here. You cannot be too eager, because as soon as you do that, well, your rear end's just going to try and overtake you, and you're going to lose time, and you're going to spike the tire temps, which is, well, in turn going to haunt you and hurt you in the next corner. Overtake there for Maximilian Maya, plus the slipstream coming into effect. 1:25.301 fastest lap time for Maximilian Maya last time round. Oh, Mario Herzog, round he goes. Christoph Hatos. Ooh, he's having some internet issues already. Oh my goodness, yeah, it's in defense of the car that does hit him, it's difficult to spot where a car that is not on your screen actually is. Patrick Dangel. Interesting way of warming up the tires. Frasinetti still 5/10 ahead of Maximilian Maya. One of the drivers who has made his pit stop already, and currently up in P9. He's the first driver to have made this pit stop already. So what's possible for Michiel Haverens this time round? Sends it around the outside, have to drive a comeback race, had to come from P22 in this race. Oh, Michiel Haverens, Jesus. Scared me for a second there. All over the curb, bouncing off it. Mario Herzog. To the inside he goes. I think Tiemann can't get enough of the Budweiser livery he's driving in. Oh, that would have been quite a good save if he kept that pointing in that way. Bit stylish, isn't it, to take the corner that way. Ending up with losing quite a bit of time on the grass and on throttle. Stefano Pellegrino, that does not work really well. Stefano has been struggling with the car in this server so far. Oh, interesting. Interesting camber and toe in on that left front there for Hendrik Augustin. Won't be ideal. He'll have to make a trip to pit lane for a fast repair if he still has it. Which of course is, how did he get to that damage? It'll stay a mystery where he got the damage from. Andrea Frasinetti still in the lead by almost 2 seconds now. Something has happened to Maximilian Maya, where he just can't follow the pace that Andrea Frasinetti is setting at the moment. Fastest lap time for Winston Eckel in P8. He's behind Rafael Renhofer. Both drivers have made their stop already. 8/10 is the gap. Where's Michiel Haverens gone? Jan Lins. What happened to him? He's going to lose it on the entry, isn't he? Yep, yeah, he is. Oh, a car, well, in front of him lost it even more. That was Hugo Zasse then. Look at this one. Round he goes. Boom, into the wall. And that's race over for Hugo Zasse. So then the spin for Jan Lins was a little less eventful. If you see that happening in front of you, Marius Zug for the BS Plus competition. Team also loops it, showing that even the best drivers are susceptible to it here at this track. Winston Eckel showed that in the first race as well. Here is Winston Eckel behind Rafael Renhofer, who we're looking at now. Approaching over halfway now in this race. Michiel Haverens, here's what happened to him. He's going to loop it and he's going to hit the wall. No, he's not. Oh! Is that car going extremely slow there? But there then. my god. Yeah, the car ahead just comes to a complete standstill. That is really, really strange. Unfortunate though for Michiel Haverens. It didn't look like he braked too late or anything. Car ahead just came to a complete standstill there, looked like. Oh, Rafael Rennhofer without a rear wing. Rafael Rennhofer without a rear wing. What's happened to the Austrian? This could be crucial. He's going to loop it himself. He's going to let it roll. No, Rafael. No, you've done this to yourself, and what a rejoin that is too. That could well be another penalty. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's got no rear wing. He doesn't know it yet. He should be rapid on the straight. Yeah, no rear wing for Rafael Rennhofer, and then this section is going to be absolute horror. Mirko Bortolotti could take back crucial points here. Where Mirko Bortolotti was unfortunate in the second race last week, it's Rafael Rennhofer's turn this time round. So much happening ahead as well. Ivan Ferrari gives him a freebie. Oh, and then makes contact! Afterwards, Ivan Ferrari makes contact with Rafael Rennhofer, further worsening the situation. What is going on with the championship leader? He just loops it himself. And then what does he do? Oh my Ivan Ferrari. You absolute dingus. Unnecessary. But just misjudged it, I think. Up the inside, didn't mean to do that, but misjudged it from taking the corners so tight. You of course can't brake at your normal braking point. He probably couldn't even see the braking point. It was that tight to the corner. Andrea Frasinetti making his stop now. Winston Eckel leading the drivers who have stopped already. Where is Andrea Frasinetti gonna come out in relation to the Dutchman? These couple of corners, extremely crucial. Martin Stadtmann takes the lead of the race. Andrea Frasinetti to pit exit now. Winston Eckel only out of the last corner now. It's Andrea Frasinetti who's going to be ahead, that's for sure. But Winston Eckel up into fourth. Martin Stadtmann now having taken the lead of the race. Baza is the leader in the silver class. Also having made his pit stop already. Closest challenger in the silver class is Mario Truma. He's only 3 seconds back of Lucas Baza. And with a mistake like that, you're going to minimize the gap you have. Mario Truma in the Ferrari livery behind that. Very easy to spot. Mirko Bortolotti up in P5. He could take massive points away from Rafael Rennhofer, who's had to make 2 stops in this race. Martin Stadtmann into the pits, and that is going to allow Winston Eckel to get back up into the podium. Where is he going to come out in relation to Mirko Bortolotti? Mirko Bortolotti is also going to be ahead. Another position picked up for him. And he's only 10 seconds back. Well, I say only. He is 10 seconds back from the leader, Andrea Frasinetti, who's had a race without mistakes, except the one he made at the start. And there is a dark cloud looming over him, with potentially another penalty from that to be applied after the race. But for now, he's leading the race. Oh, my goodness. Please keep it on track, Andrea. I don't want the commentator curse you. What a snap that was. Here is that start. Andrea Frasinetti. Let's look where he is. Just decides not to brake and then only goes back to P2. Have a feeling people will be making a protest of this. The Max Verstappen line. People won't have been keen to see that. And then Rafael Renova. Has he had another incident? Has it gone from bad to worse? It has. Same place. This time a better outcome though. Oh my goodness, Rafael Renova. Not the best of races in the feature or in the reverse grid one. Winston Eckel could get up as high as P2. Maximilian Meyer's got to slow down. That'll be music to the ears of Winston Eckel. How far is he going to drop back? Is Mirko Bortolotti also going to take advantage of it? Not quite. He has closed into about 2 seconds of Maximilian Meyer. What is still possible for Winston Eckel? Can he get P1? Andrea Frasinetti 6 seconds up ahead. It would be a majestic drive if he could. He's up 14 positions already. Had to come from P15 or P16, excuse me, after a P5 in the main race. Skating, surfing over the curb with the floor. He has to watch out that he doesn't wear the skid blocks too much or he'll do a McLaren. 5.8 seconds, I think it's too far. Well, you almost know it's too far, unless Andrea Frasinetti is going to make some sort of mistake. But having seen the T1 that Andrea Frasinetti had, and then only getting back to P2, the feeling Winston Eckel might be able to get the win afterwards. Lucas Baza was leading silver. No, he wasn't at the time. Mario Truma had already overtaken. You see Mario Truma in the Ferrari livery ahead of him. Ooh, interesting one, this one. Slightly overreacted, I think, Lucas Baza. As the car in the background still had some internet issues. I think that's Christian Ablasser. Oh, Martin Stadtmann has gone round as well. He's able to keep the position. Here comes the BS Plus competition from Mario Zug, and he does get through. The gap currently after that incident is about a second between the two. Eckel, is this the last lap? Yes, white flags out. Andrea Frasinetti, last lap of the race. Let's hope for Andrea Frasinetti. He's able to keep that victory this time. After he took it in the LMP2s at Monza, that was taken from him. If there is a 5-second time penalty for the incident in turn 1, he will still keep the lead. Time still very much crucial for Andrea Frasinetti. Cannot relax. Will try to open up as much of a gap as he can. Don't hustle the car too much, Andrea Frasinetti. He knows what's up at stake here. Oh my goodness, he's all over the place through the S's. Well done on keeping that pointing the right direction, Andrea Frasinetti. He's on the overtake. He's going to have left once he crosses the line, but my goodness, he's all over the place. He's pushing too hard. It's Andrea Frasinetti, but he's going to win the main or the reverse grid race at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico. Winston Eckel comes home to claim a second place. And Maximilian Meyer comes home to claim a third, just in front of Mirko Bortolotti. And Marius Zug takes P5 from Martin Stadtmann. Who in the end finishes P6. Mario Truma, a couple more corners to go for him to win the silver class as well. Bernhard Geberger has not been here this evening. This is going to be the round that he drops. Presumably, if there's no zero scores for the rest of the season. Mario Truma comes through though to win in the silver class. P11 overall, a great result for the Austrian. Christian Ablasa. This is the battle for the last spot on the podium with Lucas Baza. Teammates. Squirmy on the rear end for Lucas Baza. But he takes a P14 home. Or P15 home, excuse me. And Christian Ablasa, the podium in the silvers. Jan Lins, he will finish 5th in the silvers. And it's Christoph Hatos who finishes P17 overall. And 6th in the silvers. Well then, what an evening it's been once again of racing in the W12 Sprint Series. Let's go to the results of the reverse grid race. Andrea Frasinetti wins ahead of Winston Eckel in 2nd and Maximilian Maya in P3. That's your podium. Mirko Bortolotti narrowly missing out on it in P4. Just 5/10 back of Maximilian Maya. Marius Zug in P5 ahead of Martin Stadtmann in 6th, Anton Abe in 7th, Ivan Ferrari in 8th, Leon Blum in 9th and Stratos in P10. Mario Truma, the winner in the silver class ahead of Rafael Renova in P12. Losing big points to Mirko Bortolotti in this race. Timo Pitts in P13, 2nd in the silver class. Christian Ablasa 14 overall and 3rd in the silver class. Lucas Baza is 15th overall, Jan Lins in P16, Christoph Hatos in 17th, Hendrik Augustin in 18th, Niels Langeveld in 19th and Patrick Dangel in P20. P21 then for Stefano Pellegrino, Michiel Havrens in P22 ahead of Hugo Zasse in P23, Mario Truma P24, Michael Deulinger P25. These drivers all not seeing the checkered flag. Callum Lux, Torsten Kroos, Hugo Rob, Davy Urma, Philip Ugre, Florian Stadtmann and Robin Rogalski. One of the drivers not seeing the checkered flag in the race. Well then, let's start with our 3rd place finisher in the silver class. And I think 14th overall, Christian Ablasa. Welcome into the commentary booth.
Hello.
Christian, let's say a chaotic second server. Crashes left, right and center. People finding it very difficult to keep the many horsepowers you have under your right foot in this car. Well, basically tamed. You were one of the drivers who was able to do that. And well, a P3 followed in the silver class.
Yeah, as you already said, it was second race was very chaotic. So my plan was since I did two mistakes by my own with on being not too gentle on the throttle, so I spun myself. So I was in the last positions on the start. So I already said to myself I will just keep it calm on the first lap and try to survive. And it seems like it was working out.
How was this combo though, with the high altitude, not a lot of grip? It seemed tricky out there for a lot of people. How were you able to control that in the second race?
Yeah, it was pretty tricky, but it was also quite fun, I have to say, the track. So now I also know when I watch Formula One that it's not that easy always on the start. So because some people are complaining sometimes regarding that, but it was like just being for me the goal on second race was just being patient. And it seems like it worked out.
Christian,
Server.
good evening.
Good evening.
Just a quick question on your first spin. Was it
Yeah.
calculated to wreck your rear end and then optimize the fast repair?
No, it was not planned, but I said to myself, I still have the fast repair, so I thought like, okay, it's okay. But then I didn't have the fast repair for the second spin, so then I lost my front wing. so I had to wait in the pits until the mechanics have swapped everything.
Yeah. Was it a quick fix though? I have no clue.
It was front wing was 15 seconds,
Okay.
something
Yeah,
like
makes
that.
sense.
But it's much faster than in the GT cars if you have some damage.
Yeah, very true. Well, Christian, first server. Anything specific to say about that?
First server was quite fun.
Have you ever
Uh,
driven the DPI before?
no, I've never driven the TPI before, so I had to buy it today and was driving it the first time. So it's one of a few cars where you sit on the other side in the car. So that was something which I had to adapt, and braking with the brake bias, because the brake bias was fixed, was also somehow figuring out how to brake in the practice sessions. But was a good combo, I think.
Yeah, it for sure was one to watch. Well, Christian, congratulations on your podium in the silver class in the reverse grid race.
Thanks.
Hopefully back next week.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
That was Christian Ablasa, third place finisher in the silver class. We'll continue with the silver class, this time with the man who was victorious in the reverse grid race, Mario Truma. Welcome into the commentary booth. Congratulations. You're a
Hello, thank
W12
you.
Sprint Series silver class winner.
Thank you. Yeah, it was quite a tough race. And yeah, I guess these are important points for the Silver Class Championship, I guess.
Now, first of all, my producer Timon here, he was a big fan of your livery.
Oh, really? Yeah, I like it too.
Now, yeah, well, of course, you really can't hate on it, can you? Your pace, especially in that second race, seemed very strong. Even before, I think, Christian spun out, you were already ahead of him. What was that down to, that pace in the second race especially?
Just saved the pace, I guess. I knew I was a bit quicker than the other guys in the Silver Class, so I knew exactly how fast to drive. Yeah.
And server number 1 in the DPIs on Watkins Glen, what did you think of that combo?
Wow, that was also really tough and really fun to race. And the car, yeah, it was really much fun to race this car. And I didn't know that the car doesn't have ABS. And yeah, bit hard to drive.
Yeah, ABS in that time, very much not a refined process. Well, now 2 weeks left to go in the season. What are your goals for the Silver Championship?
I guess Michael Haberens is pretty strong, but this time I was a bit quicker, and I guess he left the server number 2. So I took the points, and we'll see what's come next.
All right. Well, Mario, thank you very much. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That was Mario Truma, our winner in the silver class. From that, we move to
6 in the first.
Mirko Bortolotti, as he was clearly having a chat with the rest, of course, debriefing the race. Mirko, a lot happened in the second server. Just talk us through it.
Well, good evening, everyone. First of all, I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, I think it was quite a positive one, generally speaking. I'm quite happy. And it's been a good evening, I must say. Really difficult, especially the Super Formula in this track combo, because with the altitude, you have basically no downforce, even though the car has quite a lot of downforce. But it felt like driving the Formula 1.6 in the high-speed stuff. So really tricky to drive and difficult. But in the end of the day, I think it was quite good, and I had a lot of fun. And we were just discussing with the guys about it.
You were also very quick in the first server. You are the first driver, except Rafael Renova, to win a race, to win the feature race in the first server. You must be happy with that.
Yeah, well, the first week I had the pole and I was leading the race in Knock Hill, and then we were fighting, and I thought, it's the first week. It's really doesn't make sense to risk a DNF. So I think that race could have been won as well. In the other races, I must say, Rafael was quite. I mean, he's strong everywhere, but in the other races, he was really dominant, especially in the BMW M2 and also in the rallycross car. But at the end of the day, the gap doesn't score points, and for me, it was important to. If I cannot win, I have to finish second. That's what I managed to do, and so I'm quite happy. Also in the races where he was dominant, I was second, so that's perfect.
DPI, not a car that you drive a lot usually. Have you driven it before today?
Never. I think we came up with the idea at 4 p.m. to just throw in some cars that have been off the radar for a while, and then we said, okay, what can we do? And I said, let's put the Riley DP back in, and I'm pretty sure nobody's driving that. And yeah, I think it honestly. Then the draw started, and the 3 selected cars were basically 3 cars that we threw in at 4 in the afternoon. So actually, the perfect scenario for our championship, because as you know, we never want anyone to practice or give anyone an advantage, or the guys that can practice a lot on the mainstream cars have a huge advantage. And I think probably that was one of the factors why I could be competitive in the DP. So I actually turned out really well. But I must say that combo with Watkins Glen being, as you could see, I think you could see it on the stream. I have to watch it, but the tow was playing an unreal factor, and it in the end it became a tactical game between me, Raf, and Marius, with also Andrea Frassinetti involved. So it was a fun race, and to be honest, I was really happy to win it.
Well, the goal still must be, of course, the championship. It's been a great push also this year, once again, between you and Rafael. It was close last year. Expecting it once again to be this close this season?
No, the goal is to stay sharp, have fun with a really, really high level field. Rafael for sure, as we all know, but there are so many good, strong drivers in this field, which is great for us to stay sharp and to use this off season to our benefit. This is the main goal, and I mean, I wouldn't be bothered if somebody else finally wins the championship, but obviously I will try everything to defend it.
All right. Well, Mirko, thank you very, very much. And, well, a good race for you in both Server 1 and Server 2. Thank you.
See you next week, guys. Thank you.
Well, that was Mirko Bortolotti. Finished 4th in the reverse grid race, the last one we saw. Moving on then to a second to last interview, Maximilian Maya. He's back into the commentary booth. A great drive from you, Maxi, today. P3 on the podium in the reverse grid race. Talk us through it.
Thank you, guys. Well, the main work was done at the start. I think I started in 15th, and after the first lap, I was in 5th or 4th. I was just having luck with all the gaps opening up there. But yeah, it was a tough track and car combo, to be fair. Not easy to get the hang of it.
Yeah, we heard a lot about, or a lot of drivers about that. Mainly being down to the altitude where the track is located at. Is it something you've ever experienced before in iRacing?
No, not to that extent. I mean, I did a few races on Mexico in GT3s and GTP cars, but with this it was way worse because you have obviously a lot more downforce than in the GTPs and GT3s, which makes it even worse to have that altitude.
Server number 1 was also an interesting one. DPIs at Watkins Glen. How did that go for you?
Well, it was actually a cool combo. Unfortunately, like my Heat 1 race, I got spun around on the first lap, and from there on it was just coming through the pack, through the consolation race and the main race. But at the end, I think I finished like 7th or 6th, which was pretty good.
Your aspirations for the championship? I don't know where you are at the moment. Remind me, please.
I think I'm 3rd at the moment, but Mario Suk had a pretty good day today, so it might be 4th at the end of today.
All right. Well, I guess your aim there then is to either go higher and compete with Mirko and with Rafael, or at least make sure you get P3.
Yeah, I mean the main goal is P3 because the back's pretty big to the first 2 guys, but yeah, try to do our best. Maybe get a win this year now also. So yeah.
All right,
Try to have
2
fun.
more weeks to go for you, Maxi, to get that win. Hopefully, we'll talk to you next week and you'll have taken a win.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Have a
you
good
very
one.
much, Maxi. Thank you. That was Maximilian Maya, 3rd place finisher in the 2nd race. And then there's just one more to go. And it's the man who took it all home. Hopefully, this time it will stand after the race. Andrea Frasinetti, welcome into the commentary booth, my friend.
Thank you, everyone. Finally, I did it.
Well, it was a good race for you, especially the reverse grid race. You took the lead quite early on, and from there on, really, you never looked back.
Yeah, on the start, I completely missed the break, and to avoid the first one, I cut the chicane. Then I gave him back the position, but I was a bit slower, and I take the gap. I push like hell, and yeah, it was funny. But this car in this track was crazy because there's no downforce completely, so it was
How long did it
difficult to
take you to
manage.
get used to it?
On the first seat wasn't easy. Wasn't easy, and then after I get used and was easy and easy lap for lap, lap each lap. I get him better, and then was I think I was doing my the fastest lap, but I did a mistake, but was very funny.
Well, server 1, the DPIs at Watkins Glen, how was that for you?
Yeah, in server one was crazy because also with the car wasn't easy for me to get used. Then in it two I get used very good, and then I give a little help to Mirko because come on, was 2 Italian against 2 German, and it was good. It was good, very good.
Yeah, you'll have to ask Mirko to PayPal you something after that bum draft. I think that kept him in P1 there. Well, what is your goal then for the last 2 rounds of the championship? A couple more victories, perhaps?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe now on the main race because always in reverse grid is I can say more easy, but yeah, it's more easy because I completely take out on my race always, and we'll see if I can get another victory.
Andrea, thank you very, very much. Congratulations on the victory.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's it then for today. Well, these were all of our interviews. It's finally time to end it off. Thank you very, very much, everyone, for watching today. 2 amazing servers, the DPIs at Watkins Glen and the Super Formula at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. We'll see you back next week for week number 6. Until then, stay safe, and we'll see you there. Goodbye.